My granddaughter whispered those words from behind the bathroom door, her tiny voice trembling like a leaf in a storm. "Papa, don't let Aunt Diane take me home. Please. She says the angels are coming for me on Sunday." I was 63 years old. I had survived Vietnam. I had buried my wife of 38 years. I thought I knew what fear felt like. I was wrong. I pressed my palm against that bathroom door in my daughter's house, feeling the cheap hollow wood vibrate with my granddaughter's sobs, and I felt a terror that turned my blood to ice water. "Lily, sweetheart, open the door for Papa." The lock clicked. The door cracked open just enough for one brown eye to peer up at me, swimming with tears. "She's going to hear us," Lily whispered. I knelt down, my old knees protesting, and I looked at my 5-year-old granddaughter's face. I saw something there I had only seen once before, on the faces of young soldiers who knew they were about to die. Pure, absolute terror. And I knew right then that something was very, very wrong. Let me go back a bit. I was born in 1,961 inches, a small town outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. Grew up poor but proud, enlisted in the Army at 18, did 2 tours in Vietnam as a combat medic. Came home with a Purple Heart, a metal plate in my skull, and nightmares that took 20 years to fade. Met my Martha at a church picnic in 1979, married her 6 months later. We had one daughter, Caroline, in 1982. Martha said Caroline was our miracle baby because the doctors told us we could never have children. I worked 35 years at the local veterans hospital, first as an orderly, then worked my way up to hospital administrator. Martha taught 3rd grade at Jefferson Elementary until the cancer took her in 2019. After Martha passed, Caroline became my whole world. Her and little Lily. Caroline married a man named Derek when she was 25. I never liked him much. Something about the way his eyes never quite met yours when he talked. But Caroline loved him, so I kept my mouth shut. They had Lily in 2020, right in the middle of that whole pandemic mess. I remember holding that tiny baby in my arms, masked up like a bandit, tears streaming down my face. She was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen since her mother was born. But Derek left when Lily was 2. Just packed a bag one night and drove away, left Caroline with a mountain of debt and a broken heart. That's when Diane came into the picture. Diane was Derek's older sister. 51 years old, never married, no children of her own. When Derek abandoned his family, Diane showed up at Caroline's door with casseroles and apologies. "I'm not my brother," she said. And she did help. At first, Diane would babysit Lily while Caroline worked double shifts at the hospital. She bought Lily clothes and toys. She took Lily to the park, to the zoo, to Sunday school at that little church she attended out on Route 9. Caroline was grateful. I was suspicious. "There's something off about that woman," I told Caroline one evening. "The way she looks at Lily. Like she's hungry." Caroline just shook her head. "Dad, Diane is the only family support we have. Her own brother abandoned us. She's trying to make up for what Derek did. Nobody does that much for free," I said. "Not everyone is hiding something, Dad. Sometimes people are just kind." I wanted to believe her. Lord knows I wanted to believe her. But I had seen too much in my 63 years to ignore the warning bells ringing in my head. Over the next year, Diane became more and more involved in Lily's life. She started picking Lily up from preschool. She started taking her overnight on weekends. She started talking about how Lily was special and chosen and had a beautiful soul that was too pure for this world. That last phrase made my stomach turn. "Caroline," I said one Sunday after church, "I don't like the way Diane talks about Lily. All that stuff about being too pure for this world. What does that even mean?" Caroline sighed. "Dad, Diane is very religious. She just means that Lily is innocent and good. You're reading too much into it. And all those overnight visits? Lily is 5 years old. She should be with her mother. Lily loves staying with Aunt Diane. They do crafts and baking, and Diane reads her Bible stories. It's good for her to have that stability." "Stability?" I repeated. "Is that what we're calling it?" Caroline's eyes flashed with anger. Dad, I am doing the best I can. I work 60 hours a week just to keep a roof over our heads. Diane helps. That's more than I can say for you sometimes. That stung. It stung because it was partly true. After Martha died, I had retreated into myself. I wasn't there for Caroline as much as I should have been. You're right, I said quietly. I'm sorry. I'll try to do better. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. It was a Saturday in late October when everything changed. Caroline had to work a double shift at the hospital, so I offered to watch Lily for the day. But when I arrived at Caroline's house that morning, Diane was already there. "Oh, Walter," she said, and I noticed she never called me by my military title or even Mister. Just Walter, like we were old friends. "I didn't know you were coming. I was just about to take Lily to the church for the children's choir practice." "Choir practice?" I looked at Lily, who was sitting on the couch clutching a stuffed rabbit. She looked pale. "On a Saturday? It's a special practice," Diane said. "For the Sunday service tomorrow. I want to stay with Papa," Lily said quietly. Diane's smile flickered. Just for a moment. But I saw it. "Sweetheart, we talked about this. You have to practice your song for the angels." "I don't want to sing for the angels anymore." Diane's face tightened. "Lily, we discussed this. The angels are waiting for you. You promised." I stepped forward. "What angels? What song?" Diane turned to me, and for just a second, I saw something in her eyes that made my blood run cold. Then she smiled again, that sweet church lady smile, and the moment passed. "It's just a children's hymn, Walter. About angels welcoming us to heaven. Very sweet, very innocent." I looked at Lily. She was staring at me with those big brown eyes, and I saw it again. That terror. "Lily's staying with me today," I said. "You go on to your choir practice. She can miss one rehearsal." Diane's jaw clenched. "Walter, I really think she's staying with me." For a long moment, Diane just stared at me. Then she nodded slowly. "Of course. Family first." She leaned down and kissed Lily's forehead. Lily flinched. "I'll see you tomorrow, little one. Remember what I told you. It's almost time." After Diane left, I sat down next to Lily on the couch. "Sweetheart, what did Aunt Diane mean?" "What's almost time?" Lily clutched her rabbit tighter. She wouldn't look at me. "Lily, you can tell Papa I won't let anyone hurt you." Finally, she looked up at me. Her lower lip was trembling. "Aunt Diane says I'm going to be an angel soon. She says on Sunday, the real angels are coming to take me to heaven to be with Uncle Derek." My heart stopped. "Uncle Derek?" "Lily, Uncle Derek isn't in heaven. Uncle Derek just moved away." Lily shook her head. "Aunt Diane says he is. She says he went to heaven last month because he was bad, and now I have to go too because I have his blood, and his blood is cursed, and the only way to save my soul is to send me to the angels before I turn 6. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. "Lily, when is your birthday?" "Monday." "Dear God." "Sunday." She said the angels were coming on Sunday, the day before Lily turned 6. "Lily, I need you to tell me everything Aunt Diane has said to you. Everything. Can you do that for Papa?" What Lily told me over the next hour turned my blood to ice. Diane had been telling Lily for months that she was special and chosen. She told Lily that Derek, Lily's father, had died, that he had been punished by God for abandoning his family, and that Lily carried his cursed blood and needed to be purified before her 6th birthday or she would be condemned to hell forever. She showed me pictures, Lily whispered, pictures of me sleeping, and she made me practice. "Practice what, sweetheart?" "Being still." She makes me lie in a white box and practice being still and not breathing. She says when the angels come, I have to be very still or they won't take me. A white box. A coffin. Diane had been putting my 5-year-old granddaughter in a coffin. I pulled Lily into my arms and held her tight. My hands were shaking. My whole body was shaking. "Lily, you listen to me. No angels are coming to take you anywhere. Aunt Diane is sick. She has something wrong with her brain that makes her believe things that aren't true. But I promise you, Papa is going to protect you. No one is going to hurt you. Do you understand? Lily nodded against my chest. I need to make some phone calls, I said. Will you be okay here for a few minutes? Don't leave me, Papa. I'm not leaving, sweetheart. I'm just going to be right in the kitchen. I'll leave the door open. You can see me the whole time. I walked into Caroline's kitchen on legs that felt like rubber. I pulled out my phone and called my daughter first. Dad? Is everything okay? Caroline, I need you to come home right now. What? Dad, I'm in the middle of a shift. I can't just... Caroline, right now. It's about Lily. It's about Diane. Something in my voice must have told her this wasn't negotiable. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Next, I called the Blount County Sheriff's Department. I knew the sheriff, Tommy Vickers. We had served together in Vietnam. I trusted him with my life. Tommy, it's Walter Brennan. I need you to listen to me very carefully. I told him everything Lily had told me, about the angels, about the white box, about Sunday. Tommy was quiet for a long moment. Walter, you're telling me that Diane Morrison has been, rehearsing your granddaughter's death? That's exactly what I'm telling you. Walter, that's hard to believe. Diane Morrison is one of the most respected women in this county. She teaches Sunday school. She volunteers at the food bank. Tommy, I know what I heard. I know what my granddaughter told me. That woman is planning to kill Lily tomorrow. I can feel it in my bones. Another long pause. Okay, Walter. I'll send a deputy over to talk to the little girl, get an official statement, and I'll see if we can get a warrant to search Diane's property. A warrant? Tommy, we don't have time for a warrant. It's Saturday. She's planning something for tomorrow. Walter, I can't just bust into a woman's house on the word of a 5-year-old. You know how these things work. We need probable cause. We need evidence. What about the pictures? Lily said Diane showed her pictures of herself sleeping. If those pictures exist, we'll find them. But I need to do this by the book. Otherwise, even if we find something, it won't hold up in court. I wanted to scream. I wanted to drive to Diane's house right then and tear it apart with my bare hands. But Tommy was right. If we didn't do this properly, Diane could walk free. How long for the warrant? I'll call Judge Patterson right now. If I can convince him, maybe we can get a search warrant by tonight. And in the meantime, you keep that little girl with you. Don't let her out of your sight. And don't let Diane anywhere near her. Caroline arrived home 30 minutes later. I sat her down and told her everything. I watched her face go from confusion to disbelief to horror. No, she kept saying, no, not Diane. She wouldn't, she couldn't. Caroline, I need you to listen to me. Diane loves Lily. She would never hurt her. Lily must have misunderstood. Maybe it was a game, or a Bible story, or Caroline. I took my daughter's hands in mine. I know this is hard to hear. I know you trusted her. But I saw Lily's face. I heard what she said. That child is terrified, and we need to protect her. Caroline was crying now. I brought that woman into our lives. I let her take my daughter. I let her... Oh God. Dad, what if something had happened? What if you hadn't been here today? I held my daughter while she sobbed. And I thought about all the times I had dismissed my own instincts. All the times I had told myself I was being paranoid. All the times I had almost said something but held back because I didn't want to cause trouble. Never again. Tommy called back 2 hours later. Walter, we've got a problem. I talked to Judge Patterson. He knows Diane. Everyone knows Diane. He's reluctant to issue a warrant based solely on a child's testimony. I felt my heart sink. However, Tommy continued, the judge did say that if we had any additional evidence, anything at all, that corroborated Lily's story, he would sign the warrant immediately. What kind of evidence? Anything. Photographs, documents, witnesses. Something that proves Diane's behavior has been, let's say, concerning. I thought for a moment. The church. Diane is always talking about her church. That little place out on Route 9. Maybe someone there has seen something. I'll send a deputy to ask around. In the meantime, keep Lily close. After I hung up, I sat with Lily and Caroline in the living room. We ordered pizza. We watched cartoons. We pretended everything was normal while we waited for the phone to ring. Lily fell asleep around 7, exhausted from the emotional day. Caroline carried her to bed, and I sat on the couch, staring at my phone, willing it to ring. It finally did at 9:45. Walter, you're not going to believe this. Tell me, my deputy talked to the pastor at that church Diane attends. Pastor Mitchell. He said Diane has been, quote, increasingly erratic over the past few months. She's been talking about angels and purification and something she calls the ascension. The pastor actually asked her to step down from teaching Sunday school 2 weeks ago because some of the parents complained that she was scaring the children. Go on. It gets worse. My deputy also talked to Diane's neighbor, elderly woman named Ruth Hawkins. She said that last week she saw Diane unloading something from her truck into her garage, something long and white. Mrs. Hawkins thought it was strange, but she didn't think much of it at the time. A white box. Tommy, that's enough. That has to be enough. Judge Patterson agrees. He signed the warrant 10 minutes ago. I'm heading to Diane's house right now with 3 deputies. I want you to stay where you are. Do not come to Diane's house. Do not engage with her in any way. Let us handle this. Tommy, Walter, I mean it. Let us do our job. I'll call you the moment we know something. The next 2 hours were the longest of my life. I sat on Caroline's couch, watching the front door, jumping at every sound. Caroline paced back and forth in the kitchen, unable to sit still. Neither of us spoke. The phone rang at 12:15 in the morning. Walter. Tommy's voice was strange, shaky. I've been a sheriff for 22 years. I've seen things that would turn your hair white. But what we found in that garage... He stopped. I heard him take a deep breath. What did you find, Tommy? The white box was there. Just like Lily described. It's a child-sized coffin, Walter. Custom made. And inside, she had it all set up. White silk lining, a little pillow, and she had a dress laid out. A white dress with flowers embroidered on it. Lily's size. I closed my eyes. There's more. We found journals. Hundreds of pages of journals going back years. Since Derek left, actually. She writes about Lily constantly. About how Derek abandoned the family because he was cursed. About how the only way to break the curse was to God, Walter, she was going to. Say it, Tommy. She was going to suffocate her. Tomorrow morning, during the church service. While everyone was inside praying, she was going to bring Lily to the garage, put her in that coffin, and I can't even say it. And Derek? Is he really dead? We don't know yet. But based on what we found in those journals, we're treating this as a potential double homicide investigation. She wrote about punishing Derek, about sending him to God for judgment. We're searching for his remains now. I felt sick. All this time, that woman had been in our lives, smiling and baking casseroles, and underneath, this poison. Where's Diane now? In custody. She didn't resist. When we showed her the warrant, she just smiled and said, "You don't understand. I was trying to save her. She's going to be evaluated by a psychiatrist, but between you and me, Walter, this is going to trial. What she planned, it's premeditated. She's going away for a long time." I thanked Tommy and hung up the phone. Caroline was standing in the doorway, her face pale. "It was real," she whispered. I nodded. I couldn't speak. If you hadn't been here today. If Lily hadn't told you, but she did tell me. And I listened. That's what matters now. Caroline crossed the room and fell into my arms like she did when she was a little girl. We stood there for a long time, holding each other, crying tears of relief and horror and gratitude. Lily woke up around 7 the next morning, Sunday morning. The morning she was supposed to die. Instead, she had pancakes with her mother and her papa. She watched cartoons. She played with her stuffed rabbit. She laughed, and when she laughed, I felt something crack open in my chest. Something that had been frozen since Vietnam, since Martha's death, since all the losses and horrors of my 63 years. Hope. In the weeks that followed, the investigation continued. Derek's remains were found buried in the woods behind Diane's property. She had killed him 6 months ago, convinced that his abandonment of Caroline and Lily was a sin that required divine punishment. Diane was diagnosed with a severe psychotic disorder that had apparently been developing for years. Without treatment, her delusions had grown and twisted until she believed she was doing God's work by sending Lily to heaven. She was found guilty of first-degree murder for Derek's death and attempted murder for what she planned to do to Lily. She was sentenced to life in a psychiatric facility. At the sentencing hearing, Diane looked at me with those empty eyes and said, "You don't understand. I loved that child. I was trying to save her soul. And the terrifying thing was, I think she believed it." Caroline sold the house and moved closer to me. She switched to day shifts at the hospital so she could be home with Lily every evening. We had dinner together every Sunday, the three of us, like a family. Lily started seeing a therapist who specializes in childhood trauma. It's been 8 months now, and she's doing better. She still has nightmares sometimes. She still flinches when she hears someone talk about angels. But she's healing. Kids are resilient, more resilient than we give them credit for. But they need us to listen. They need us to believe them when they tell us something is wrong, even if what they're telling us seems impossible, even if it means questioning someone we trust. I almost failed, Lily. I saw the warning signs for months, and I dismissed them. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself Caroline knew best. I told myself that Diane couldn't possibly be dangerous because she went to church and baked casseroles and smiled all the time. I almost let my granddaughter die because I was too polite to make a scene. Never again. Last week, Lily turned 6. We had a party at my house. Pink balloons, chocolate cake, all her friends from kindergarten. She wore a purple dress because purple is her favorite color now, not white, never white again. At the end of the party, after all the other children had gone home, Lily climbed into my lap and wrapped her little arms around my neck. "Thank you, Papa," she whispered. "For what, sweetheart?" "For listening." I held her tight and breathed in the smell of her hair, birthday cake and little girl shampoo and life, beautiful, precious life. Always, baby girl. Papa will always listen. And I meant it. If you're watching this, and you have children or grandchildren in your life, I want you to remember something. Kids don't make up stories about being scared. They don't have the imagination for that kind of darkness. When a child tells you they're afraid, when they whisper secrets from behind bathroom doors, when they flinch at a trusted adult's touch, pay attention. Don't wait, don't second-guess yourself, don't worry about being polite or making accusations. Listen, because sometimes a child's whisper is a scream for help, and we are the only ones who can hear it. Trust your instincts, trust your gut, and most of all, trust the children, because every child deserves someone who believes them. Every child deserves a chance to grow up. Every child deserves to turn 6. And thanks to one scared whisper behind a bathroom door, my Lily got that chance. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And give your little ones an extra hug tonight. Because you never know who's watching. And you never know who's listening. But as long as we're paying attention, as long as we're believing our children, the monsters don't win. They never win. The end.